Meetings Africa is what Leanne is about this morning. She's out in Sandton, just speaking about the combination of events, business, tourism, all jumbled up in one. Leanne, it's over to you once again. Good morning.
Hi, Ayanda. Thank you very, very much. And must I say, you're looking absolutely beautiful this morning. I just got a glimpse of what you're wearing. You're looking fantastic. Thanks very much, Ayanda. We're heading up towards 6:45 here on the program, and we're broadcasting from Meetings Africa. This is the 11th Meetings Africa that's being hosted here in Johannesburg. I mean, it's such a major event, and it's just growing in stature. It's getting bigger and bigger every single year. And I must say, we've been here for a couple of years. It's one of those events that we like to cover regularly, and we do so here on the program. So I think we keep you updated as to the happenings around the meetings arena in South Africa. So when you think of meetings, obviously it's the same thing of tourism. It's bringing people into the country, bringing their money here, their hard-earned money, so that they can come and spend it here in South Africa. And with our exchange rate looking the way it is, I couldn't think of anybody coming to a better destination. Well, let's talk to our Minister in charge of tourism. I've got Minister Hanekom with us to talk a little bit more about Meetings Africa. And you're opening it this year. Once again, good morning to you.
Hi, Leanne, and once again, it's my pleasure to be opening it.
Yeah, it really is, because I mean, when you look at the environment we find ourselves in, although it's a tough economy for the whole world, including South Africa, somehow South Africa has a bit of an upper foot here.
Not a bit, Leanne, a big one. A big one, because there's so many things going for us, especially on the meeting side and conferences, hosting conferences. One is we have an outstanding reputation. We have developed a stature in being able to host these big events, and really well. Going from the World Cup, soccer, cricket, rugby, big international conferences, etc. But there's a climate factor. Right now it's winter in Europe. So at this time of the year, people want to come to South Africa and escape the worst of the winter, and then the exchange rate, of course. So it's really, really good value for money. But I should say, Leanne, even without the exchange rate, South Africa was extremely and is extremely competitive in hosting these conferences.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many reasons. There really are. Obviously, we've got a lot of competitors on the African continent, and we've got some of them showcasing here. But are we still winning? Are we still the number one hosting destination when it comes to meetings?
We are, Leanne, and by a long way we're the number one on Africa, but we don't actually regard our African partner countries as competitors. That's why they're here. We want to promote each other and support each other. Some of them have excellent conference facilities. We clearly have far more than they do. 3 very big international conference centers and many smaller ones, international, and then of course local, unique kinds of conference centers all over the country, in our national parks, on the coastline, in our cities. So we have everything going for us for being the number one. We're not only number one in Africa, we're number one in Africa and the Middle East by quite a long shot. But we want our neighbor countries to be part of it. So if they host an international conference, the likelihood is that the people who go to Namibia will spend a few days in South Africa, or in Zimbabwe, Swaziland, Botswana. So, we're in it together. Yeah. We want to see our neighboring African countries succeed.
Yeah, indeed, and we did see that with the World Cup. And speaking to a lot of other countries here on the continent, they were saying, they felt the benefits. They really did, especially our neighboring countries. That's a good thing for them. Economically, though, let's try and break it down if we can. I mean, what does it mean for our economy, the meetings part of things? And also, I know recently we were releasing some tourism figures.
Well, in short, everything's going for us in tourism this year. We say this is going to be a bumper year. And for a range of reasons. Yes, last year, 2015, we were affected by a few things. Ebola affected us in quite a big way, unfairly, but it was the case. Some of the visa restrictions have impacted on us. So we're getting around these visa issues. Ebola is no longer a factor. The exchange rate is favorable. So everything points to 2016 being a brilliant year for tourism in South Africa. But on the event side, what it means economically, if you take the 2014 year, which is the last recorded figure we have, we hosted 124 large association events in South Africa, translating into jobs and translating into economic opportunity. Conference delegates, by the way, they don't, because it's a long-haul destination, they don't only come here for the conference. On average, a conference is about 4 days long. The average stay in South Africa, Leanne, of conference delegates is 9 days. Over 2/3 of them combine their conference attendance with a holiday. Yeah. So we've got conferences lined up in the next 5 years. We've got 165 already lined up for the next few years, which translates directly into 3 billion rand. I know I'm giving you far too many figures for you or your viewers to absorb, but just to say that these conferences are incredibly important to our economy. And the good news for tourism, I think people are increasingly seeing tourism as a kind of a rescue sector, if you like.
Yeah.
The one sector that is not affected by commodity prices, the one sector that is positively affected by the exchange rate, and a country with a wonderful reputation for hosting people, not only conferences, but our tourism image is really good internationally.
It certainly is. I mean, the hospitality of South Africans is spoken about around the world, and people do love it when they come here. And what I do love about people that do visit South Africa is the pleasant surprise that they have. It's like, really? This was actually amazing. None of the stories that I've heard are actually true. Just finally, Minister, on a closing note, I just want to give viewers, because I know a lot of people are still confused about the visa issue. So at this point in time, it is still in effect, but there are some travel agencies, you were telling me, in different countries that are now able to, as opposed to going and visiting a different embassy, you can go to an accredited travel agency.
What we're doing, Leanne, I mean, the Department of Tourism and the Department of Home Affairs are working really well together to address, especially since the cabinet processes last year, to implement the cabinet decisions. One of those cabinet decisions is starting with Russia, China and India, is that travellers to South Africa will no longer need to go in person to the embassies. So we've already got there when it comes to China, which is by far our largest of the 3 countries in terms of visitor numbers. So in China already as we speak, they no longer have to go in person to the embassies or to the visa facilitation centres. They can do their booking through a travel agent, and that makes a huge difference. So we're making very, very good progress in terms of these visa reforms.
Fantastic. And that, of course, translates for better numbers coming to South Africa. Minister, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Our Minister in charge of Tourism, Hanekom, talking to us about the importance of Meetings Africa and, of course, what it does for the bottom line here in South Africa, and stating here on the record, 2016 is going to be a bumper year for tourism in South Africa. Can't wait for it. Right, let's take a break. More after this. Stay tuned.